So let's look at some inking on Archie Comics. This is a Harry Lucey comic artwork. I'm not sure who inked it. He had a few different inkers. Some of them used one steady thickness line around for all their inking. A couple others use a lot of thick and thin lines. Like on here, you'll see a lot of variation in the line work here, going from the top where it's a very light line on this side to a thicker line here. This one is a thicker line here, stays thick all the way around down here. Around her arm stays thick. There's a thinness here for the fold. Then it gets thick on the outside edge. But back here, you'll see even here, there's a thick and thin line here. And it makes for a good variety of the character. A very thick line on top of Archie's head all the way around forehead, but the top of the nose thin, bottom of the nose thicker, bottom of the lip a little thicker, bottom of the chin a little thicker, tapering to a thinness. The other inkers would use a very steady, not steady, but uniform line going around most of the characters. It just stays one thickness. Here's a tapering line here and here on the inside. But on the outside, a lot of it is the same weight going all the way around. So it depends on what you're looking to do with your character, how you ink your characters, as to what it's going to be like for the final drawing. So let's say we've got a drawing we want to do of Archie, and we'll just start with his head here, and he's kind of looking up. And we just block in everything. Let's say that he's doing something. Let's say he's got his hand up here, and then this hand is over here. Maybe he's doing a little Archie dance. But we just use lines to figure out what he's going to do first. And then we can start filling in his features very lightly. Those heavy eyebrows. A little nose there. Chin comes down like this, and ears out. And that's why you draw lightly, so that nothing is gouging the paper, as it were. So when you fill in Archie, that's his actual arm there. And you make your decision as to what you want his hand to do. You fill out his chest a little bit like that. He's not a strong guy, so it's a pretty straight line down. And then his leg come down here. Maybe we want his leg to be a little bit more towards camera. So we do some foreshortening, and this comes out a little wider like that. And he usually wears pointy toe shoes like that. And then we can start putting his clothing on him. And it'll come down like that for his shirt. And the bottom of the shirt. And the sleeve of the shirt would come up like this. Maybe he's got cuffs. So then that's out like that part here. Here. And as we go back into it, we say, well, maybe his chin needs to be a little bit lower. Kind of like that. So there's our basic drawing of Archie. You haven't decided what you want his hand to do yet, so maybe he's just got his hand out and he's gesturing to someone. As he's talking, and his little fingers up like this. So let's start the inking on this guy. Pick out a couple of pens here. That will give us the right look. Let's see. So I'll start with a thin pen. This is a calligraphy pen. Y&C Calligraphy. So let's see how this one does. Sometimes before you ink, sometimes you might want to darken in the line that you actually want just before you start, so you know where you're going. Make any corrections that might be needed. That way, when you're doing your inking, you know exactly which line goes where. So let's start here at the top and just take a line around like this. Come down here to the bottom of his face and then up. And then join that line here. And then that line there. And once you have that, you can go back in and make it a little bit thicker. So you might need it to be this thick coming down around the bottom. And then it tapers when it gets up to his ear. And then the line around his ear, you can do this. And around the other ear, like that. The line inside his ear, you want it to be a little bit thinner than the line outside of his ear. And then the line for under the hair is here. And this one comes up like that. And then the cross hatching should be slightly thinner line. Like that. His eyebrows are just going to be black, so you can just outline those like so. And then go back in with the thick side of the pen. Like that. Now for his eyes, you might want to use a different pen. I got this at Blick, and the writing is Japanese, I guess. I think it's a Kuretaki. Like that. And then a small line for his nose there. Slightly thicker line under here. So as you see, this pen has a point to it. So it's not like the calligraphy pen. And in order to make a thin line, you just hold it straight up like this and just barely touch the tip to the paper. And you can thicken it up with the second stroke. And then fill it in. Now that you've got his face done, you can go back with your other pen and start to do his body. And you saw that we drew his body in the earlier. So you go back in and start to put in the details. That should be a thicker line because it's under the collar. And we just go straight across like so. Everything is simplified when you do these types of comics. There's no extraneous details on anyone. I'm thickening up some of the lines here. Like I said, some of the inkers did a thick and thin line. Others kept one steady thickness to the lines. I like both styles, so and you can thicken it up as you come around here. And this line can taper like that. And we come down to the pants. We simplify the wrinkles in the pants. I'm going through this a little bit fast just so I can get her done. Now we come to the flower stems. We give those kind of thin lines. When you come up to actually doing the flowers, you can use a pen like this, a graphic line marker pen, line maker. And this one is by Derwent Graphic. And it's a 0.5. And here's another calligraphy pen, Elegant Writer. This is a number 3. Let's see if we can draw on his belt. Nice thick line down there. And that just about does it for him. We need to figure out his shoe. Give him some heel. Straight across like that. Back here. And then here. And let's say he's wearing boots, so they just go straight up like that. A little thicker here and up. Take our Elegant Writer, put a nice thick line around like that. Maybe this line comes up like this. And then we can fatten up some other lines. Like that. This one a little fatter on the bottom of his pant leg. It meets up with this one, so this one's fatter also. It tapers in. That, and then this one gets fatter because it's the bottom side. This one should come up and taper in there. So there's our Archie inking demonstration. Now I can't draw or ink like Harry Lucey or his guys, but I can approximate it because it's a style that I like. And then if you want to put a little wrinkle in his shirt, I think they would do this. And then you could use this marker to go 1, 2, 3. There we go. So I added freckles here and here. So keep drawing, and we'll see you next time.